Hi, my name is Tracy Ann Johnson from Math 2530, and I am going to introduce you to the slide version of the game called Linear NIM. The object of the game is to reach the end of the track, but to avoid being the last person left with moving the last counter off the track. Slide Linear NIM involves two players. It involves a 19 squared colored track with 4 colored counters marked already on the track. There are at least 10 to 20 colored counters, and you can have 2 variations of the board. It can be pre-marked, or you can have an empty spaces for the first 6, 11th, and 19th square. To play this game, you have to follow these rules. You have to place 1 counter of any color on each of the 4 colored squares, and you can start with only 1 counter, or you can increase by 2 and then increase to 3. Each player takes turns moving any 1 counter, 1, 2, or 3 spaces until they reach the end of the track. But you cannot jump over the counters. The person that finished moving a piece off the track wins. The person who was last moving a piece off the track loses. Slide Linear NIM has some strategy to it. The strategy is always think ahead of your opponent and count what squares would be left over if your opponent moved 1, 2, or 3 spaces. And then you can decide how you would move after that. Determine how many squares are left. You want to leave a certain amount of left so that the next person will lose and you will win. These are variations of the game. You can start with 1 board, 2 players with 1 counter, 2 players with 2 counters, 3 counters, or 4 counters. So let's play Slide Linear NIM. This is how you play the game. Let's start with 1 counter, and then you take turns. If I'm the first opponent, I would move 1. And if I move 1 spot, let's go there to where we need to go to. I would move here, and then the next opponent would move it here, and then the next one would be here. So that's player 1, player 2, player 3, 1, player 2, player 1, player 2, player 1. So the object of the game is to not be the last one to move it off. I want to move down to 4 counters. Let's put the 4 counters. And the goal would be to move off. The goal would be to take these and move them off. Move them each time. I'm going to move twice. And then player 2 might take this and move it 3 times. And then you can take player 1 may take a move and take this and move it 1, 2, 3 times, and they're there. And then player 1 can move this one off, and then you continue on. So this is how you play the game of NIM. And this is the end of my presentation.